Now today is the 11th of June, and over the last couple of days, now that we are easing the lockdown, customers have been bringing trees to me, and as I've told you, I've got this reputation of being able to rescue or transform sick and neglected trees. So these are customers. This customer has been to me before, but this particular maple he purchased from me maybe about 20 or more years ago. He has never pruned it and it has gone out of hand. But the reason why he brought it to me is not because he wants it pruned. This pot, you can see from here, fell down in a wind and the pot broke. So he tried to repair it with tape. Can you see the duct tape he's used? He tried to repair the pot with tape, but he said, why don't you repot it for me? But I said to him, I can't really repot it for you at this time of year. This is right in the middle of June, and it's almost at the height of summer. And if I were to repot it, that means tease the roots, it wouldn't do the tree any good. Besides, it's very, very pot bound. And because it's so pot bound, let me see, I will have to break the pot. The pot is broken anyway. So let me bring a hammer. So this broken pot, I will just crack the pot. I will just angle the camera a little more. So I'm just going to smash the pot. It's a Chinese pot. So all the duct tape, he tried to rescue the pot. But it's so pot bound, I would have had a job trying to get it out of the pot. Yeah, this is what he's done, tried to salvage the pot. But let me show you close up. As you can see, the roots, very, very pot bound, absolutely pot bound. There are some signs of new roots coming, but look at it. The incurved pattern of the pot is ingrained in the root ball and very pot bound. It was long overdue for repotting. So had he brought it to me in February, I would have gladly done it for him. But I said to him, what I need to do at this time of the year, if you come across a situation like this, I wouldn't do a radical repot. What I would do in the middle of summer is to simply put it in a large temporary training pot, gently tease the roots out. I'm not doing a root prune, mind you, I'm just loosening the roots so that it can breathe better. Let the air in. Not many people realize that the roots of the trees actually breathe. So if it is very pot bound, the roots are not able to breathe. So the roots are not just for taking up water to sustain the tree, it actually breathes. So if it is very pot bound, the tree, the roots are not able to breathe air. So I'm just loosening the top to make the watering easier. So these are the little tricks I'm showing you. I'm not doing, as I say, a radical root pruning, just loosening the roots. I'm not going to cut roots because it's the wrong time of year to do it. But the roots at the bottom seem to have rotted anyway. It's been so badly neglected. It's only the peripheral or the surface roots which are still alive. But what he will need to do is to bring the tree back to me in February, and I will then do a proper repot. So that's all I'm going to do to the root ball at this time of the year. I know a lot of these are rotten roots anyway. So let's take some more of the rotten roots away. I guess if you were a doctor, this is the sort of thing you would do to a patient who has been neglected. And although it's not the right time to do severe pruning. I will do some pruning for him because I know what I'm doing. Some of these branches are dead anyway. I will just give it a light prune. Also, I'm working in the back greenhouse. This is the greenhouse which I call the intensive care unit. And it's a very humid environment. It's a glass house with polycarbonate roof and sides. And when I water, the moisture doesn't escape easily. So this environment here is very humid. And because it's humid, it encourages a lot of growth. So I will show you the after effects of this in a couple of months, because many of you find it incredible that what I do actually survives. It will more than survive, I can assure you. So I'm not doing a radical prune, I'm just taking off the tips of this. So already by doing this, it's looking better. And what I will now do is tease some of these roots too. I'm now going to put it in a temporary pot, which is this plastic pot, which is much bigger than the original pot, like this. In fact, I may find a slightly bigger one and put it in moss. So I will find a pot, I will show you the exact size. Let me just stop the camera. So I've looked around the nursery, and what I've found is this basket, this plastic tray like this with a lot of drainage holes, so that will let the air in, and it's about the right size. So I'm going to fill this with moss. So I'm going to do what is called the famous Peter Chan's moss trick. And this is pure sphagnum moss, which we still import from New Zealand. But I believe New Zealand is going to soon stop the export of this. I hope they don't, because I don't know where I'll get moss from. So we keep it in moss like that, and I fill moss right around the sides, so the moss will help generate new roots. And keeping it in this damp environment in this greenhouse will certainly bring it back to life. So let me show you close up. So this is what I've done. This is sphagnum moss all around, and this is how this tree is going to remain for the next 3 or 4 months. And I will take a picture of this again to show you how this tree has come along. Now the next problem tree I have is this one. This is a tree which is a typical Japanese export. The Japanese export lots of trees like this, and they are usually grown in Takamatsu in southern Japan. Now for some reason, I don't know why this customer's tree has not produced new candles this year. It is well alive, but it is set back a lot, and one of the branches forming the pad has died. What I want to show you really is the state of the roots. If I take it out of the pot, and I'll show you what is below that. There you are. Again, these roots probably are dead. It's very, very pot bound. It doesn't look healthy at all. But there are some live roots there. This is the original state in which the tree came in from Japan. Now in southern Japan, Takamatsu, southern Japan, it is very, very wet. I visited Takamatsu a lot of times. Whenever I go to Japan, I used to visit there to buy my pines. And in fact, the pines in Takamatsu are exported to the growers in Saitama near Tokyo, and they are just exported straight away. The point I'm wanting to make is you look at the soil. This is almost pure Japanese grit. And in Takamatsu, because it's such a wet climate, they grow all their pines in this sand. I've always said that the compost that people use in different parts of the world are different. So while this tree would grow extremely well in Takamatsu, in Japan, where it gets torrential rain, in the West, we cannot really expect the tree to do well growing in this type of soil. So usually trees that come from Japan, it is advisable, I'm not saying essential because some people would manage to grow it successfully, is to change the soil, but you got to change it very gradually. It's no good doing a radical root and branch sort of change, which will upset the tree very significantly. So I'm just loosening the soil again to let the air in, but the proper repot is going to be done next February or March. So I'm just loosening it. Some of these are dead, and this tree I will also do the same sort of treatment. Put it in a basket or a bigger plastic bonsai pot, and I will put it in moss. Look at it, it's just pure sand. But next year we will use the compost that we recommend for people who grow bonsai in the UK. Now let's say something about the compost that we use. Over a period of more than 35 years running this nursery here at Herons Bonsai, I have tried composts of so many different formulas. I have always experimented with various mixes, and finally in the last 3 or 4 years, I think I've stumbled across what is my ideal compost. I'm not saying that what I am recommending is the only solution for growing bonsai successfully in the UK, but it works for me, and we sell this compost. The compost that we sell for bonsai is not like the garden compost you would buy in a garden center or these builders merchants, like, I won't mention the names, you know who I mean. So it is not like that compost, and it is sold at a premium price because we have so many different types of soil in it. We mix a Levington, I'm using a brand name, which is a peat-based or peat substitute type of compost, and then we use fine pine bark. The pine bark is then mixed with akadama, and then we mix Japanese volcanic grit, and then another material called kyodama. So they're all almost like 5 different ingredients. Look at that. This is a type of crushed aggregate which we mix in the soil. So our bonsai compost has a minimum of 5 different ingredients. So it is not like using pure sand like the pine came from Takamatsu, and it is not pure akadama. Some Japanese trees come from Japan in pure akadama. I have found over the years that that sort of mix is not successful for bonsai growing in the UK. So if this little tip helps you, then I have given away a lot of trade secrets. Look at that soil that has come out. It is just pure silver sand, nothing but sand. That is the compost they've been growing it in. And as I say, it's okay for the Japanese situation, but when it comes to Europe, this soil is very difficult for pines to grow in. Look at it, it's just pure sand, nothing but pure sand. So I'm going to put it temporarily in moss, and then hopefully in February I'll do a proper potting with our compost. So to show you what I've done finally, that maple has been potted in this tray with sphagnum moss, and I decided in the end to also use a similar type of perforated tray, and I planted this pine in sphagnum moss, and I hope it will recover. I should have discovered it a bit earlier, then the rescue would have been, more manageable. But let's see, there is a very good chance that it may survive. So I just hope that it will survive, and here's hoping for the best. I hope these little tips have helped you. So there you go.